Hey guys, today I'm going to be telling you about all of the different projects that I'm currently writing and working on. A little bit for my brain because it feels like there are so many different projects that I'm working on right now, and I'm the kind of person that struggles to flip-flop between them. So I thought I'll just get things straight in my head and also bring you along for the journey. I really want to start creating some more writing vlogs and speaking about my projects, and so I thought it might be fun to sort of share the different things that I'm working on. I have also had a little bit of a play of making some mood boards with Milanote just to kind of try and capture the vibe of a certain project. And this has been a fun new thing for me to do because I've never really done mood boards before. I've done like research documents or pitch documents kind of things, but never like a mood board. So I really tried to focus when doing this on just capturing like an essence or a feeling rather than conveying information. Really tried to focus on, what does this show look like? What does this show feel like? So let's jump straight in and jump over to my computer. This is Milanote, which I have downloaded the PC version thing. I'm not using it in the browser, but I think you can. And these are my 3 mood boards that I've created for my biggest projects that I've got going on. And let's just jump straight in to Blue to the Horizon. Now, this is probably at the top of my priority list right now. Not only because I'm passionate about this show, but I really need to finish it. For context, I did finish this show. It got put on by a production company. It went really well, but now we want to extend it. So I'm adding material to this script and trying to create a bit bigger of a fuller show, taking it to the next level. So it is technically a rewrite. So let's go in and look at my mood board. Now, this I think is pretty clear, and so I'm really happy with this one. What I've got, if we zoom in here, is a lot of images of the setting, which is the ocean. I've also tried to include like some images of these boats, interior and exterior, to give a bit of a vibe of, where this is happening. But I also wanted to convey like the vastness of the ocean and the natural beauty and the natural world, which is a big sort of thing in this show. Now, this show to me is fun because it's kind of like, it's set on the middle of the ocean, right, on a boat, and it's kind of like the vastness of the ocean contradicting with being trapped in this tiny boat and being claustrophobic. So it's those two things kind of head to head. And I think I've kind of conveyed that really well. Now up here, you could add like a little map. And so I thought that was really fun because this show is, the geography is important, right? So if I zoom out, we can kind of see, there. You could add little like sound things like audio, but it only hooks up to like Spotify and SoundCloud, I think, and I've only got MP3s for this, so I didn't add any audio. And then down the bottom, I've put my characters, okay? I was really tempted to go in and put like their ages and their backstories and their vocal ranges and all this stuff, but again, I just had to be like, no, this is not an info document. This is just to convey the vibe and the feeling so that when you look at this, you can kind of understand what this show feels like, what it looks like. So I've just put the character's image and the character's names. Now, I find this one of the most useful parts of doing this. And even when I'm not doing mood boards, I always try to have a visual of the character in my head. It could be a famous actor or someone you envision playing the role, or it could just be a random image that you found on Google Images, whatever. It doesn't actually matter, and it's not like, oh, that's the person who has to play this role. It just gives you an idea when you're writing, especially dialogue. It helps you capture that character's voice in a very efficient way. So what I did with Milanote is I did get the like little browser extension. So when you're scrolling Pinterest, I use Pinterest for a lot of this, it will have like a little save thing, and it saves the image directly into Milanote. It's so efficient. And then what I did was I then opened it on my tablet, and I could use my pen, stylus pen, to do all the drawy stuff. So I think I had a pretty good workflow. I've got all my characters down here, and as I said, like, this is not to say like, oh, the person who plays Sophie has to have blonde hair. It's not to say anything like that. It's just giving a one glance, yes, I understand that character. You can tell roughly her age, you can tell her vibe, trying to, come across as, teenager, strong, determined, issues, moody, whatever like the thing is. So yeah, this is my vision board. mood board for Blue to the Horizon. I kept it very simple with my theme words. I think for mood boards, I was trying to think in my head, less is more. So now to tell you about the show. The show is like a chamber musical. There's only 6 characters. There's no multi-rolling or anything. And it's post-apocalyptic, or like it's set in the future after an imagined World War III. So it's kind of like a bit otherworldly, a bit post-apocalyptic, a bit like dystopian in a way. It's all set on this one little boat drifting across the ocean, and I really wanted to explore character relationships and survival, and also the positive stuff like the hope and the beauty of the natural world, and the situation. But it's very, very character driven. I'm really passionate about this show, and I think that's great because to write a show, it takes so long. Like, you have to love being in that world and spending time with those characters. And I've been working on this show for so long now that I feel like the characters do speak to me. Like, they are so real to me, and it is so much fun to be in that world and to write this show. I feel like this show would be great as, like, I'd love to do it as a graphic novel, and I'd love to see it as a film, and like, I just really believe in this story. And so I'm spending a lot of time right now trying to really get this right and really try and take it to the next level. So that is Blue to the Horizon. That is my mood board. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I feel like it looks nice. Okay, we're gonna go back to home. Now, the next project that I'm working on is Crossroads. Now, it's another rewrite. I'm not as happy with how the mood board turned out, but let me know what you think. This is my mood board for Crossroads, okay? Now, as you can see, different colors, different vibes. Let's zoom in and take a look at some of these images. Now, Crossroads is a road trip musical, and it is set in Australia. So we've got a lot of images of the Australian outback, that orangey kind of deserty feeling. Again, I've tried to have some images of like key location elements. So we've got these outdoor ones kind of exploring that, again, that natural world, but also some more specific ones. So here we've got like a little country show, a servo, a little house in the middle of nowhere down here. And I also wanted to try to convey like genre. Again, I'm focusing on character relationships. We're focusing on like the road trip kind of coming of age genre in a way. So we've got some images here, that kind of in the car kind of vibe. Another one down here. I feel like when you look at these images, you kind of can sort of, your mind goes to like a movie that you've seen with something like that. It kind of, you get the vibe kind of instantly. So that is my mood board for Crossroads. Again, I've kept it really simple with my theme words. We've got decisions, identity, dreams, journey. And it's a really fun kind of task to think, how can you sum up your show in like 4 big words? And those are the words that I chose. I don't think the vision is as clear when you just look at it as a whole compared to if we go back to Blue to the Horizon. Like, I look at this and I know the show. I know the world, I know the colors, I know the people, I know that show. Whereas this one to me is a little bit more chaotic. I don't know if it's just because the colors are a bit more chaotic or what, but to me, like, it's just not as clear. And I would say that kind of is true of where I'm at with this project, okay? So Crossroads is a musical. It's the first 2-act musical that I've written, so big boy. And I wrote it for my master's degree, so I had to write it really, really quickly. We had like less than 6 months to like write a show, put on the show. It was wild. But what that meant was that there was a lot of rewrites that I had to do, things that I didn't get right straight away. And I found it's almost harder to like go back and rewrite something when it's just, it's been messy. I've been slaving away on this for like years now, literally. And I finally got it to a place where I thought it was good, and I did a reading and got lots of feedback from everybody. So I'm just working on this now, next draft based on that feedback. And I really would love to get it to a place where I'm like, you know what, this is good. Because I feel like it's got the potential. I feel like it is good, but it's just like not quite there yet. So down here I've got my 3 main characters. There are a lot of other smaller characters in this show, but again, less is more for the mood board. So I just got it down to my main 3. And I tried to do these little relationship arrows here, which I think is kind of fun. So we've got Darcy, Joseph, and Tobin. Now, when I was getting my character images from Pinterest as well, this is just a note, when I would put in like mid-20s, brown hair, determined character, or whatever, like a little character description, you get all of these like AI images or like model images of like super weirdly like unrealistic hot people. And for me, like, it doesn't really do it for me. Like, I really want my character to look interesting or authentic or real, not like ugly, but a little bit of just like, oh, like that's a real person, not like some supermodel, because that's not helpful for me to look at like a supermodel version of my character. Like, I want it to be real. So for example, like Darcy, I feel like this is real. This is like a real person and what they might look like. Joseph is a little bit too on the hot side, but like it was the best that I could find. And we've got Tobin here, who is like an asshole, like billionaire kind of character. So these are my three characters, and these are the arrows. So I've got lovers to friends. And again, just in 3 words, I'm telling these two characters' entire journey. They're lovers, and then in the end, they're friends, right? They don't end up together. They part ways as friends. Down here, I've got enemies to friends, okay? So at the start, they hate each other's guts, and at the end, they part ways as really good friends. And here, Darcy and Tobin, I've got siblings, and that one's just like a constant relationship. They start off as siblings, and they end up as siblings. And doing this was actually like a really fun exercise of trying to convey the character and the relationship journey really succinctly, and it also highlighted to me where there is growth and change and where there isn't. So enemies to friends, that's a massive journey, right? And that's a really big part of the show. But siblings here, we've got that as a constant. And maybe I want to keep it as a constant, but it does highlight to me like, oh, if you needed to add another element, maybe you could go siblings to enemies and they have a big fight at the end. Maybe you could go siblings, but they're not close, to very close siblings, okay? So it really highlighted to me where the moments of change are and where the moments of just being constant are. So this was a really fun mood board to make. Like, I think it's good, but I feel like this show has room to grow. So yes, as I mentioned, Crossroads is a road trip musical. Again, really focusing on relationships. I feel like that's a bit of a theme for me and my shows, really going into those relationships. It's all about like love and identity, and like city versus country is a very big theme, and I don't think that comes across on my mood board. City life versus country life. So that's Crossroads. It's a work in progress, and again, it's a rewrite. So those are 2 shows that I'm working on rewrites for. And we're going to go over to Robot Pigs now. This is my mood board for Robot Pigs. I'm pretty happy with this. This is a show that I wrote on this channel for this channel. It's just like a 10-minute mini musical. I don't like love this show. I'm not in love with this show, and I don't think it's like a life-changing, groundbreaking show. I wrote it really, really quickly on this channel just as an experiment more than anything. And sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I should expand it. Maybe I should make it a whole thing. But I'm just not in love with it. And as I said, like, if you're going to invest so much time in a show, you have to love those characters. You have to love that world. You have to love that show. And I'm just not passionate about this. So I'm kind of happy to draw a line under it and say, this is it. It's like it's a 10-minute show, and it's really fun, and I did it as an exercise, and I learnt a lot. That's okay. I might use some of the songs in the future in other musicals, like reuse them or borrow them, because I do like a lot of the music, but in terms of the world and the story, like, it is what it is. So yeah, this is my mood board. These are my images. I tried to again go for more of a feeling than info. These are images of just like animals in the real world doing regular human things, which I think is very cute and very much a part of the aesthetic of the show. We've got this kind of like futuristic vibe here, like animal utopia vibe, and then over here we've got more of the like pig vibe, which I think is kind of like cute in its own way. And again, down the bottom we've got these 3 main characters, which is very helpful for me when I'm writing. Now, my vision for this show is to record it, not just like the demos. I've got demos recorded, but like the scenes in between as well. So I've got a full audio version as like a package, because this show does in my head really work as like an audio thing, like audio only. And so I'd love to record that and submit it to BBC Upload, which is like a thing where you can submit stuff that you have and then maybe they play it on the BBC. So I think it would be a really nice like end conclusion to this project. I think it would be fun to be like, yeah, I was played on the BBC, and it would be like a nice finish for that. Draw a line under it and yeah, just call it done. Like, how nice would it be for a project to call it done? That hardly ever happens. I'm always the person that wants to like be like, yeah, what's the next thing? Go bigger, go bigger, go bigger. But I think it would be nice to get to a point where I've got this as like a product, a finished audio product, and I've had it showcased somewhere, and then I can call it done. So that's Robot Pigs. So those are my 3 big projects that I've got going on. I'm doing rewrites for those first 2. I want to record Robot Pigs, and then let's talk about my other projects which I have not made mood boards for. So I am currently working on a short film which I've spoken a little bit about on this channel. I'm writing it with my brother, and we really want to like create it and film it. Now screen and film is an area that I really want to start getting more into, but it's an area that I have not got a lot of experience in, and I find it kind of overwhelming of being like, write a movie, go, or even like write a pilot, go, because like to me a TV series is even more of a thing than a movie. Like a movie might be an hour and a half, 2 hours, but a TV show that could be like 8 hours, 12 hours of like content and story, and I find it kind of overwhelming. But a short film, I'm like, you know what, I can write a short film, I can do that. I did it in year 11 media, I can do it now, it's fine. So it's kind of like just biting off a small chunk to dip my toes in, and we really want to like make it and film it, and it would be great to have that as material that we can then like submit to things or use as kind of like proof of, you know, our skills. So that's a project that we're working on. I'm waiting for my brother to send me notes on the first draft, and we'll probably put together another couple of drafts and try and make it. So that's a really fun project. I am trying to write a TV pilot to add to my arsenal. I feel like there are a lot of projects, a lot of opportunities where they want you to submit a pilot. So I've always really wanted to have a pilot in my tool bag that I can use for submissions. At the moment, I feel like I've only got musicals, and even like I'd even love to add a play or like a 10-minute play. Again, dip my toes in like a straight play, because I feel like if I had that, like a play, a 10-minute play, a pilot maybe, I would be eligible for so many more of these schemes and opportunities, and I feel like it could open up my writing world. So that's something that I'm really trying to focus on, is to kind of like branch outside of musical theatre. Even though I'm really, really passionate about musical theatre, I think it will be great for me to step outside that and try something else. So I'm trying to read a lot of books. I'm listening to a lot of podcasts because I feel like I can do that when I'm driving. I find it really hard to have the time for reading when I have a very small child, but I'm trying. And I know I just have to listen to my own advice and just start writing them. The best way to get better and the best way to actually do it and get stuff done is to write. And lastly, I want to speak about a couple of commissions that I have, and I'm going to call them commissions because I've been asked to write them and I'm going to be getting paid money. So the first one is a Christmas pantomime. I've never written a pantomime. I've done stuff in a similar genre, so I feel comfy doing it, but it will be a really fun project for me. And the second one I'm even more excited about is a murder mystery dinner show type thing. So a little bit interactive, and I'm hoping to write some original music for that as well. So that's really exciting to me. I feel like it's got like a commercial feel, like people understand what a murder mystery dinner show is. So, you know, maybe I might be able to kind of like take that further and see where it goes. But as always, it's just awesome to be getting paid to do writing in any context, because obviously so many of these projects that I've spoken about today are passion projects or projects that I'm absolutely not getting paid to write. It's all just in my personal time. So yeah, the fact that I've got a couple of things on the go which I may be getting paid for is really, really exciting as well. So they're all the things that I've got going on. I feel like I just listed off like 10 projects. Like I'll be interested watching this back what the count is, but like, oh my gosh, I find it so hard to flip-flop around, but I kind of have to flip-flop around if I want to get anything done. At the moment, I'm putting all of my energy into Blue to the Horizon, and I sometimes feel if I can just put all of it into one and then tick that off, then I can put all of my energy into the next one, tick that off. But realistically, I probably will start having to work on multiple things at the same time, especially with deadlines and things. So yeah, thanks for just having a very like informal chat with me today on the video. And yeah, please let me know what you're working on in the comments below. I know there are some people who are working on a lot of projects as well, a lot of musicals as well. So I would love to hear about it. Let me know like the title, if you have a title, if that encapsulates what the musical's about, or like a log line. I would love to read that. And until the next video, I will see you next time.